This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Hello, my name is Harriton Boatco. Welcome to our program. Normally, I would be talking about politics. Not that it's my advocacy, but my frustration, especially with the criticisms and all the issues that are hounding our government. But the most important thing is not necessarily about the politics, but the people. So, pinag-uusapan po natin dito yung Pilipino. Now, one of the biggest concerns, or the critics are so adamant about, is what we call the situation, meaning we have inflation, we've got the rising dollar, and regardless of what the issues are and why or how or who caused this, the point is there has to be some type of financial literacy before we even realize or understand. How can we be critical, have critical thought when we don't even know the basics? So I thought we should take a break from the politics, as it's about to explode anyway in a couple of days. People will be registering for all the different positions, trying to gain a mandate so that corruption will be re-energized. Now, I'm being very sarcastic there. Either way, we are dedicating this program to financial literacy, and what better way than to bring to you a person who will explain to you the basics, if not how to go forward. We've got Maria Gabrielle, I'll call her Gabe, Brillantes. Hi, Gabe. How are you today?
Hello, Harry. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very elated to be
Great.
here.
Don't worry about the television. Don't look at the cameras, and that won't freak you out. Tell us about financial literacy. Alam mo, before you begin, what is the percentage you think of 100, let's assume 100 million Filipinos, what is the literacy on the different financial instruments that are available for the Filipino?
Well, currently it's around 10% or maybe even less when it comes to Filipinos' knowledge of financial instruments. And how to
Why?
help them.
Kulang sa education in high school, college?
Yes, maybe the traditional educational system has something to do with it. The fact that we don't have any subjects that are related or that are entitled financial literacy.
So the CHED has failed us, so to speak. I mean, not for anything. Why in Singapore or the more developed countries, even the taxi drivers bet on the stock market? Because why put your money in a bank when it only has a third of 1%, although secured? Even in America, di ba, everybody plays the stock exchange. Everybody is into what stock did you buy, did you sell, did you unload, did you buy in? I mean, bakit sa atin walang ganon, ano? Kukonte. I heard in some presentations, even the credit card penetration is still quite poor. Why is that? Do you agree with me na
Yes,
they have
I do.
failed? The system has failed
Well,
us.
in terms of the educational system, I think it needs improvement. And I think the cause for this is, you can trace it back to old times. Like Filipinos were very interdependent, you know, like when someone has a sickness or encounters an accident or becomes disabled, you know, we turn to our relatives, we turn to our barangay, you know, we just have that culture
true,
of
isn't it?
dependence rather. So it's a cycle. it's not a bad character trait, or there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not helping us move forward or be as progressive as the other countries that you've mentioned.
Okay, tell us about your literacy, financial literacy program. What is it you would like our viewers to understand to help them, to educate them towards all the financial instruments or strategies you have?
Well, financial literacy is basically just assessing where they are right now in terms of their life goals, their present life stage, and how they can better prepare themselves financially and in other aspects when it comes to achieving their goals.
Not necessarily just savings.
Not necessarily just savings, because savings is not enough.
It's not enough.
Yes.
Now, looking forward to medium term, long term, that's what you're saying, basically goals for
Yes.
the medium term and the long term, and how to look at it and how to strategize against it. But if you are not making enough, if you are still an employee, so to speak, okay ba yung financial instruments, more education? How can it help you? Yeah, that'll be the better way.
Well, that's the thing. That's usually the objection of people. That's why they don't resort to having financial instruments to help them. But I think we can go back to the root, or like to the basic, wherein what they're doing is not enough, and they have to turn to other way. They have to resort to other ways or other means which could help them. Maybe a side business, or a passion that they want to venture in. It could they could profit from it. So, it just doesn't have to end up like getting an insurance policy, or trading, or investing in the stock market. But it simply has to do with your self-discipline when it comes to managing your finances.
So you promote that people who are already employed and more or less secured, earning every 15th and 30th a stable wage, having some type of security net with the Social Security over, let's say, 120 months, diba, that after paying, or Pag-ibig, or SSS, that's security enough. You promote that they go into other forms of income generation. Let's suppose
Yes.
a sideline. Yan.
Yes.
Mag-buy and sell ka dyan. Not necessarily full-time work. And then the instruments come in.
Yes.
You need money first before you can use the financial instruments.
And you have to establish that habit of savings first, and to discipline yourself that not everything has to be accomplished or achieved instantly. You have to learn delayed gratification.
Okay. So, the idea is not to spend. When you make money, you've got to inject the concept of savings.
Yes.
Let's see. Singaporeans, they're the highest, no, the Japanese and the Singaporeans are those with the highest ratio of savings. Tayo sa Pilipinas, ano ba rate natin? Zero, no, sa savings. We tend to live up. I mean, look at the OFW. They'll go abroad, they'll go to the Middle East, come back, and they're drooping in gold as if they're sick in their liver, di ba? They're all yellow. Ganun ba talaga tayo? We don't, or is it because ignorance of, like you said, financial literacy?
Maybe it's just our mindset.
Culture.
Yes, and our culture as well.
Yabang, di ba? Pag
Yes.
malaking television dala ko,
Yes.
di ba?
Ang daming pasalubong
Oh,
to our
yan, isa pa
relatives.
yan.
And then, once we need money, we don't
Utang.
have, yes, utang.
Nahalata ko, abroad, hindi masyado marami mga pawn shops. Dito sa Pilipinas, ang daming, di ba, na
Yes.
parang ganon. Why is that? Why do you think that is? It's just our culture?
I think so, and it's something that we were born, or we were accustomed to when we were born. I think we don't really have the concept of preserving our wealth for future needs.
Why?
Like, we live in the now, because like what you said, right? Sometimes it's not even enough. Even if you're an employee in a good company, what they earn isn't enough. Isang kahig, isang tuka when it comes to the poor. So how can you think about the future if right now you're already problematic as to how you're gonna eat, or where you're gonna live or stay? So things like that.
When you live from hand to mouth, can you talk? Can you still be educated? Can awareness help you with financial instruments? Or magano ka muna, kumita ka muna, tas mag-usap tayo?
Well, I think from that situation in itself, you can already educate someone. It's good for financial advisors, you know, that eventually when you talk to a person, it will lead to a person availing of an insurance policy or like getting an investment at a specific insurance company. But at the end of the day, for me personally, I think it's an advocacy, financial literacy. The end goal isn't for them to get insurance or be insured, but for them to, you know, do something about their goals and not just to be content with their present situation.
So now we go to the stage 2, which is finding out what to invest in. Paano kung maloko ako? Bibili ako ng stock market. Ano ba naman yan? Hindi ko maintindihan. Ang daming choices. Di ba? And should we go for high yield, higher return? Isn't that best? Or go for very conservative percentages?
Well, for beginners, we advise them to start with a low risk and, you know, something that they don't have to monitor religiously.
Like blue chip companies.
Yes.
Blue chip, meaning the Ayala Group,
Yes.
Jollibee. How about new big boys like Double Dragon, di ba? Hindi ba blue chip yan? Hindi pa yan blue chip.
I don't think.
Ano yung mga blue chip? Sun Life.
Yes. We call this VUL or Variable Universal Life Insurance Policy. It's not so. It's
Maybe you can expound. Okay.
yes. It's for a long-term form of insurance and investment. So it's primarily an insurance policy, but it also has an investment part or an investment aspect. So it's low risk because you don't have to. You have fund managers for it. Like you, there are charges which you allocate to the fund managers, and they're in charge to, you know, to allocate your funds or your money and invest in those companies that you've
And
mentioned.
what about embezzlers? What if you get penetrated by embezzlers, professionals? We've been hearing and reading in the newspaper what we call the how do you call that? Yung networking, they come up with all kinds of schemes and then they collapse, yung pala they're fake, di ba? You hear them, you read about them and see them on TV where these big guys get caught, di ba? And they embezzle all the funds. How do you get protected? How sure are you, for example, a company as big as Sun Life? How do you know your fund manager hindi ka tatakbuhan, hindi ka isahan, hindi ka nanakawan, di ba? Parang ganon.
Sadly, those things happen. I mean, it's a reality, but I think that's the reason why a financial advisor meets a client or a person to talk to establish a rapport relationship, because it's something long-term. It's not something that you just like, okay, I'll give you my money and then you be responsible with it. The financial advisor will be responsible for your savings and investment for around 10 years or 20 years or even all throughout your lifetime.
Pero yung financial advisor mo, even if he steals the money or embezzles it, when you say it's blue chip, the company, like for example, as big as Sun Life, guarantees that guy, even if that guy sort of falters. Is that true? Safe ba yun? Is that safe to say that? Let's suppose you're dealing with me, and I belong to a very big company that's stable. And for some crazy reason, I find a way to take your money. Is the big company behind me that I represent, is that going to back it up? Is that the way to look at investment opportunities? Tignan mo yung kumpanya, how big it is.
Well, first things first, the financial advisor will become liable, but of course the insurance company will be hit as well, so it will take responsibility for
It will take.
Yes, for the client's losses.
So you're espousing, let's go by way of insurance. And then through insurance, other investment opportunities come about. So how do you start with insurance? Go for life insurance first.
Yes.
Bagay, may return yan after so many years. If you don't die, di ba, you have a lump sum.
Yes.
But if you die in the process, you're still safe, at least your children, your wife, whatever. So the very best way is to insure yourself. What is the percentage of insured people, the Filipino?
Insured Filipinos, it's the same rate as like the number of people who are financially literate, around 10% or even less.
Isn't
are
that a bit
insured.
low?
That's super low as compared to other countries.
Yeah.
They really resort to, acquiring as many, and they build their investment portfolio in a way. They don't even stick to with just one insurance
In other words,
policy.
make money out of the money you're making.
Yes, exactly.
It's
You
okay.
keep it rotating.
It's good to
Keep it
work
growing.
and make an income, but once you have an income, don't blow it all. Let's make your money work for you. That's
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yes.
Mahirap ata intindihin yan para, I mean, for the common tao.
Yes.
Okay. Abroad, farmers make more than people in business because, well, it's a different economic program. Dito, it's the farmer who is the lowest esteem or the lowest income generator, right? Now, once you make a little bit, learn how to put aside, no matter how small is what you're saying. And no matter how small, that will aggregate or it will add up, it'll become a pile eventually. That's when you go into insurance.
Yes.
How do you reach? How does the common tao go and reach out to people like you? I don't see the banks going around the streets, generating awareness or educating the people. Di ba? Mga jeepney driver, wala naman. You watch the news, it's all about politics. Nobody talks to you about how to go about it. Or when they do, hindi mo maintindihan, you know. Well, Ayala Bourse went up 2%, 3%, it's 3 points down, 2 points down. Okay, that's different language. Di ba? Parang ganun
Yes.
eh. How do you suppose financial institutions like insurance companies propose to educate or generate awareness through programs like this?
Well, the good thing with financial advisors at this generation, we're more aggressive because more millennials are venturing to financial industries. So, and there's so many means to, access information when it comes to financial literacy. There's like the internet, and there, of course, there's us, like the people who are spreading financial literacy across companies, schools, barangays, and other places.
So you go around, you mean
Yes.
ikot kayo?
Yes,
Oh,
we do
okay.
across the country. We want to spread as much financial literacy as possible across like the Philippines.
So you guys actually go out
Yes, we do.
as part of the program of the insurance company or the bank or the financial institution. It's part of the program.
Yes, and there are also events where we help because our company it's very active when it comes to giving back to public schools, things like that. We have other advocacies where we incorporate financial literacy along with it. I have a friend who created a board game to teach financial literacy to,
Wow, it's nice.
children. Yes, it's
Not Monopoly, ah?
not Monopoly. It's actually called Kids Who Save.
Okay. Kasi Monopoly teaches you how to be a ruthless entrepreneur. Gabe, we're gonna have to take a short break. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, ang problema kasi natin minsan, yung kultura natin, number one, punta tayo ng bili tayo ng gold, bumili tayo ng radyo, mga trinkets, magyabang tayo pagdating natin pagbalik after going abroad. After suffering for many years, you come back and you want to show off. So, what is it? It's greed, it's ego. And then, when you generate a lot of money and you're good, what happens is nagmamadali ka. It's like the money is burning a hole in our pocket. Now, how do we change that? Is it culture? Is it education? I mean, CHED and DepEd have failed us again. After all, they already failed us to date. And will they continue to fail us? When will we learn? Even our senators, our congressmen, the leaders of the country teach us to be financially literal. How do we learn? Anyway, stay with us. Let's learn more from the millennial right here. We'll be right back.